Hello, everybody, and welcome to Changemakers, your show for new online business owners looking for inspiration and courage as they begin their entrepreneurial journey. On this show, we have solo episodes where yours truly, Valerie Fisher, will discuss neuro-linguistic programming, sales and marketing, and business tips. Majority of the show will have guests who will share stories of their own journey and whose products and services also hope to serve new online business owners like you, our listeners and viewers. I'm excited for this episode, so let's get the ball rolling. Hi, everyone. For today's episode of Changemakers, we have Bev Feldman, or Personal Tech Fairy, and she is going to talk to us about automating our emails and why email is even important in our marketing strategies. So stay tuned. Thank you, Bev, for joining us in our episode today of Changemakers. So in my introduction, I called Bev the Personal Tech Fairy. I really I really love that name. It's because it gives me joy. I don't know. This fairy concept is so joyful, and tech, on the other hand, it's logical because I do brain science selling. So the tech part sounds logical, and the fairy part is like emotional. So it's like a combination of both. And I just want to say, I like.
Thank you.
Name.
Thank you. Well, it's funny because I feel like within my business, I'm kind of connecting the emotional to the logical. The email marketing, the automation part sounds so like technical and very kind of can be off-putting. But I look at it that email marketing can be a really great way, when done correctly, to connect with your audience and build like genuine connection.
Yes. So that's actually your thing when I saw your response. No. But before we dive into that, I'd like to know when you started this business, because I saw that you have been in jewelry design, and then you're now with email marketing. Has there been in any of the businesses, you can answer for any of your businesses, was there a change that you wanted in your life or in this world that inspired you to to build or start your business?
Yeah, well, so with my first business, I actually started it initially before I became a mom. Like I knew that I wanted to start to try to have kids with my husband, and I kind of came up with this idea. Like I started dabbling and selling on Etsy, and I'm like, what if I, instead of going back to a full-time job, I try doing this, and then I can do it while I'm also kind of a stay-at-home mom. So it was kind of the part of the impetus for starting the initial business was to give me that change, that flexibility to be able to have kind of more flexibility as a parent, even though I didn't have kids yet. And then I say with this business, I feel like, yeah, it was definitely so, well, it was in the midst of the pandemic as well, that it started. But I don't know that it was necessarily influenced by the pandemic. Certainly it was this realization of like this light bulb moment of this is what I should be doing. But part of it is wanting to continue to be a business owner so that I could have that flexibility of being a mom. I do have 2 kids, but also I have this whole other passion and thing that it's really important to me. And that's about, climate change and living a more environmentally friendly lifestyle. I actually have a blog about that. And I wanted to create a business that would allow me to work and be really thoughtful about the clients that I choose to work with, but also hopefully give me some time and flexibility to do this work that I think is important, but I didn't want to like turn into a business. So I wanted to be able to have the time and space to do the environmental work, to volunteer with some local organizations, but also to promote it as like, this is something we should all be thinking about.
So basically you wanted a lifestyle that will give you the freedom, not only to give more time for your family, but also to focus on the things that are important to you. And in this case, the climate change. So you wanted to be able to squeeze in because that's really, important to you. May I know how you started so we know about the Etsy part, but what about the email marketing? What's the backstory about that?
Yeah, I guess I kind of really realized early on. So when I started my initial Etsy business, I did not know anything about running a business. I was kind of figuring it out as I went along. Before that, I really had no intention of being a business owner. So, but I did realize pretty early on that email marketing was something that was really important. So right from the get-go, I made a point whenever I did in-person shows to collect people's email addresses. And I kind of knew like, well, I'm not really sure what I'm going to email them about, but I know this is important. And it was confirmed when I would meet people at shows and maybe they bought something small for me or maybe they didn't. But then later on, I'd sent them an email and they'd either become like recurring customers. They'd buy my jewelry to give as gifts or for themselves, or, they're like, oh, I remember meeting Bev at a show. And while I didn't buy anything then, like I'd love to now. And it was just kind of this moment of like, yeah, this is such an important part of running a business. And I would tell all my fellow mom business owners, and like, I don't care what you do in your business, you need to have an email list. It doesn't matter if you are emailing them yet, but you need a way to be able to directly connect with them. So it took a while before this turned into a business in and of itself, but it was just something I always knew, like from the beginning, that this was important.
It's so cool that I feel like we are on a journey, all of us, and your business started with the Etsy one. So it's a product that you're selling, and while you're selling it, you realize the need for email. Like comparing it with mine, we started with an e-commerce site where I learned how to sell online, which I then used to help other people sell online. So it doesn't stop. I'm a big believer of reinvention and constantly innovating ourselves and our businesses. And yours, I feel like it's still evolving, and who knows what this business will develop into the future. Because first is email marketing, there might be something else there in the future. Maybe you can help people with funnels. I don't know. It's still evolving. But you said you said you bring humanity to automation. What does that exactly mean?
Yeah, I love that question, because I think people get kind of perplexed by that. Like, we think of automation and we think of machines a lot of the time. The thing with email marketing is there's these really robust platforms that can allow you to send emails based on information that your subscribers share with you or actions that they take. So I look at email marketing automation as this framework of allowing you to send the right emails to the right people at the right time. So for example, the one really powerful way you can do this is, say you have someone sign up for your email list. And I always recommend to people, at the very least, in addition to having that email that automatically sends out whatever it is they signed up for, that you have some sort of follow-up email sequence. Now, it doesn't have to be super long. It can be an email or two, but it gives you a chance for the people on your list to get to know you. Because I think a lot of times what happens is we forget to email our list. So someone signs up for your list, they get that thing that they signed up for, and then crickets. They don't hear from you until like months later, and you're like, oh shoot, I haven't emailed my list in forever. I should send them an email. Now, meanwhile, someone who signed up for you and has only heard from you once at this point has probably forgotten who you are. So that's one piece of it. But the other thing is, if someone signs up for your list and you just happen to be in the middle of promoting something or a big launch, you probably don't want to email the people who just signed up for your list about that, because they don't know you yet. So email marketing automation allows you to set up certain systems so that you can naturally filter out people based on where they are in getting to know you.
Mm-hmm.
The other, and finally, like if you have a product or service that you're selling. So for example, I have a VIP day that I offer to my clients where I get their email marketing all set up and automated in one day. If I'm promoting that to my list, I don't want to email people who've already hired me to do it because they've already paid for it and it wouldn't make any sense. So I can actually like filter those people out and just email out the people who haven't done it yet.
That's so great that there is actually a system that does that, because I just started when I started last year. It was mostly word of mouth. It was personal branding, referrals, and to be honest, I only started my email. I got my emails. I did a little challenge last January, and you were right. Like, for a long time, it was just sitting there in a pile, in a virtual pile.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with it, but I had to learn. I had to, it's very recent. I think in the last maybe 2 or 3 months that I started my email. I'm using Kartra for my email, but I don't know about that. That's very interesting to me that you can actually filter those, who already bought and who are new, and you kind of custom the messages and the communication to them. I'm not there yet, so I'm learning.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm learning.
I think I don't. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying I don't know enough about Karta, but I think most platforms allow you to do that. And ConvertKit, for example, the one I use, they integrate really well with other platforms, so that if someone does make a purchase offline on a different platform, that information is still sent to ConvertKit. So kind of things are kind of happening on its own without me having to go in every single day and be like, all right, let me look